Ik sta hier voor het Amstel Hotel. En in het Amstel Hotel daar zit Rowan Atkinson. MR.Bean die is hier voor de nieuwe film MR.Bean's Holiday te promoten. Ik heb hem al gezien en ik vond hem eigenlijk niet zo goed. En ik mag hem spreken dadelijk, maar 7 minuten. Ik weet niet zo goed of ik dat durf te zeggen, dat ik hem niet zo goed vond, de film. Maar in ieder geval mag ik hem nu gaan spreken en ik vind het best wel spannend. Kom, we gaan naar binnen.
Life is a game, never the same. I feel so alive, I know that I'm lucky. Here's the place where I grew up, the smile of my mom. I know that I'm lucky.
Well, Mr. Atkinson, it's very nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you.
The last time we saw you as Mr. Bean was in 1997.
Yes.
What made you decide making another Bean movie after 10 years instead of a new series?
It just felt like a good idea. That's all I can claim. I suppose there was a little bit of unfinished business I always felt that we'd had with the first movie, that I felt that the first movie, although it's a perfectly sweet little movie, it was quite American in tone. It had the tone and look of a fairly straightforward American family comedy, and I always felt that there was a film to be made that was a little more European in style and tone and visual tone, and above all one in which Mr. Bean spoke less than he did in the first film.
Because that was the power in the series, that he spoke less.
Yes, exactly. I think we wanted to make a film that reverted more to the essence of the character which we know from the TV show.
In Bean's Holiday, Mr. Bean is on his vacation in the south of France.
Yes.
Why did he go to France and, for example, not Amsterdam?
He could have gone to Amsterdam, but
Yes.
France is closer. At least to where Mr. Bean lives. So it was always going to be quite easy for him to get on a Eurostar train in London and go to Paris through the Eurotunnel, and that's what he does. We wanted, but he could have been placed in Holland. He absolutely could, because the only prerequisite really was that it was a country in which he didn't speak the language.
Okay.
That was what was important. Because we wanted to put Mr. Bean in an environment in which Mr. Bean, was not expected to talk. So that was why we took him to a foreign country for this holiday.
I saw the movie this Friday, and I just missed one character. It was really funny, but I missed one character, and that was Teddy. Where did Teddy go?
Yes, I'm afraid Teddy has been omitted. In fact, I have a funny feeling he was omitted from the first movie as well. I have a feeling that he didn't take Teddy to Los Angeles with him in the first film. Because, you see, the problem with Teddy is that Teddy is a friend, represents a sort of friendship and a partnership for Mr. Bean.
Yes.
With Teddy, Mr. Bean is not alone. And it was very important for us with this movie that when Mr. Bean goes to France, he is alone. You sense that he's a stranger in a strange land, and he hasn't got any sort of, comforts to take with him. And Teddy is always a comfort.
In your last film, that was Keeping Mom, which I really loved, you played a Reverend.
Oh, yes.
And obviously Bean is totally the opposite of Reverend Goodfellow.
Yes.
Which character is more Rowan Atkinson? Is that Bean or Reverend Goodfellow?
Oh, the Reverend Goodfellow is definitely more me than Bean is. I think generally the speaking characters that I've played are, I think, closer to me than Mr. Bean is. Mr. Bean is probably quite close to me as a child. I think Mr. Bean has, to a certain extent, grown out of probably my childhood or memories of what I remember thinking or feeling when I was 10 years old. But for me now, there's no doubt that the speaking characters are closer.
Well, we asked some viewers from NOS Headlines to send us in some questions for you, and we got loads of them.
Right.
And it's a very personal one, so if you don't want to
I probably won't,
answer them.
But go on.
And it's from Miriam van der Eyck, and she asked, "Dear Mr. Atkinson, what would you, when you die, what would you like to be inscripted on your grave tube?"
Oh my God. I have no idea. That's a very, very difficult one.
Yes.
No, that's the most difficult question that you could ask, and I can't answer it. No, I can't think of an answer. It's something I would have to think about for quite a long time, and I haven't got time to think about it now, sorry.
I heard this movie will be Bean's last performance. Are you really gonna say goodbye to him, or can we expect some more disaster in the future?
You must never say never. So I'm not going to say that I will never play the character again, but I just think it's highly unlikely that I will play the character again. I feel as though I've done all I could ever wish to achieve with the character. But then I said this 10 years ago, so you never know how things are going to change. But I think in 10 years, I mean, particularly if I left it a long time, if I left it 5 years or 8 years or 10 years, I think I would think that I was just a bit old to play him. Actually, he's quite physical. It's a very physical experience to play Mr. Bean, and to make him as funny as possible requires a lot of, bodily energy and flexibility, which I still have at the moment. There was nothing in this movie that I couldn't do. But next time, age may have caught up with me.
Nou, ik heb het net gedaan en het was echt super spannend. En er kwam echt... Ik krijg gelijk te horen van, ik krijg maar 7 minuten, want anders kill ik je als je doorgaat. Maar het is gelukt. Hij heeft alle vragen beantwoord. Hij was eigenlijk heel erg aardig. En we hebben het over van alles gehad. Dus dat was wel heel erg leuk. Maar dat ik de film niet zo heel erg goed vond, dat heb ik toch maar niet gezegd, weet je. Dus ik dacht, laat ik niet de prettige sfeer killen. Nou, tot zover Mr. Bean.